I've come to the view, I think, at least as far as residential property taxation is concerned, that we should de-link the public system from that. I don't think the system can be rescued. I think it's become so thoroughly skewed and abused, and that the distribution, particularly given what's gone on with property values, assessments, what have you, it was so skewed out of whack that I don't think it provides a logical foundation. And I actually think, and this perhaps says a little more about other areas, but property taxation, were the provincial government to cede control of that, would allow for cities and urban environments, and in fact, most places in the province, to get on with other pressing and urgent needs like rebuilding infrastructure and dealing with issues like public transportation, which is another area continuously starved of money. Anyway, I won't dwell on that further, but it's one issue.
Thank you very much. And questions now.
Thanks, John. Anyone in the audience want to ask a question?
Well, I would just say I think Larry's quite right. I think that there are mechanisms within the funding allocation system that purport to allocate funding so that each school district is able to offer public school range of programs at a relatively sort of rough level of equivalence throughout the province. And there are different, this is where the complexities of the funding formula come in. There are different ways in which funds are allocated and rebalanced throughout the system in order to promote that. But we do need, obviously, to promote that because, and to retain it, because if you were to retreat away from that kind of governmental role to a system relying more extensively on property taxation, you would see the growth of, or the return of enormous inequities which were there in the past, and essentially induce the government to take on that kind of equalization role. So that definitely needs to be preserved.
I just want to add, I think it's ironic that the inequities that are creeping back into between schools, whether it's within a city and somewhat across the province, are now being pushed by our Ministry of Education that supposedly says we're all about equity and this is to level the playing field, and that would be a value we all, I think, in this room espouse. But the push towards privatization and funding private schools is creating that inequity. So it's undermining the values of the public school system.
Let's shift gears. Thanks to John and to Adrienne for a very interesting and provocative presentation.